Hey there everybody, how's it going? I have a special episode for you today. This is going to be a quick review of the expansion content for Magic 2015 Duels of the Planeswalkers. This is the Garruk's Revenge expansion packs, what we're talking about in particular. So we're going to pop in here. We're going to talk a little bit about the single player campaign and what I thought of it. And then we're going to overall just review kind of the content of this and see if it's worth your money. You know, it's $5 for the single player stuff and all the cards to be unlockable. And then it's an additional $5 to unlock all those cards. So just looking at this, to tell you guys really quickly, this campaign, the single player campaign, if you're in it for the single player, it is disappointingly short. It is so much fun, and it's such a great idea. The concept, if you guys are unaware, is that you play as Garruk Wildspeaker as he journeys from being Garruk Wildspeaker to Garruk Veil Cursed, which is a pretty interesting part of the lore and of the story of Magic the Gathering, the mythos of it. And what you're doing is you're playing with a set 60 card deck that the developers have decided to give you, and as you defeat each of these nodes, the deck changes slightly to become more black than what it is mostly mono green when you do the hunt begins. So as you play through this, you become more and more Golgari, which is a black green combination, until the very end you're very heavy into black, and it's really fun because it's just like those challenges that we used to have in the early games, because your deck is not super powerful. They give you some really terrible cards, to be honest with you, and you have to work your way out of these pretty tough situations. But they're not just challenges, or if you remember the old, when it was just like Squadron Hawk over and over and over again, it's not like that, because these are actual matches where a bunch of different things can happen and take place, and you have to pay attention to what you're doing. So it's a lot of fun, but it's 4 nodes long. So it's really short. It was pretty challenging. Your opponents have some very good cards. You have some really good cards too. It's not all bad cards that you have in Garruk's deck. You play with a couple things that you don't actually get in the main game, which is a lot of fun to throw around. It always bothers me though when there's stuff that you're playing with that you don't have in the main game. So it's just interesting. So once you beat all of them, you can go through again and play through all these nodes with your own decks and things like that. They all have, you know, a little bit of a story behind them and everything like that. So this is just you being able to play through them with your own deck. And you can go through there and do that, and that's a lot of fun as well. But for the most part, you're going to want to play as Garruk. And my main problem with that is that when you go into these Explore Alara shards, when you go into this section, you actually don't get the option to use Garruk's deck. So right here, we're going to pop in and use Garruk's deck. We're just going to look at a couple of the cards in here. You actually can't even look at the deck. I know you can't edit it, but it would be nice to see what you have to look forward to, what you have to play with. So Garruk's a pretty interesting character, and it's an interesting card pack, but the disappointments here from the single player campaign just kind of outweigh that because of the fact that you just don't have as much time with it as you would want. Which, you know, that's kind of a double-edged sword, because what am I really saying? I'm saying that it's so much fun and it's so enjoyable that I would want more of it. So if you are looking for just the multiplayer stuff, though, I would say to go ahead and pick this up, because for $5, this is actually a lot of fun. You get to play with some cards that you'll never get to play with usually. But not being able to play with Garruk's deck once you explore Alara, which is the last thing you unlock these in order, and then you go back to explore Alara. I think that's a huge missed opportunity, and you're going to find yourself wanting more, I think. But it was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it as a campaign option. Now we're going to look at the card collection. I've been unlocking the cards pretty nonstop. We don't have all of them, but this is really what you're going to be looking for. If you come to this game and you're doing the multiplayer and everything, what you want out of it is to unlock the cards. I would also say that the node section, the Explore Alara, has some pretty tricky stuff going on in it. So there is some fun that you're going to have. I'm going to show you this really quick. You have to sit through this little transformation all the time. And once you've unlocked the Explore Alara, it's just kind of a smack in the face because you don't even get to use Garruk's deck for it. But this particular thing has some scenarios that are very difficult. Let's pop in and just take a look at one of them. We'll see which one we get randomly. This is Maelstrom, which was probably one of the easier ones. There's also a dragon one. It's all the shards of Alara, so you're going to have Exalted come across the field and everything like that as well. So let's just see if we can see some of the cool cards. Hopefully this guy will play something interesting that you can see in Explore Alara that you won't be seeing in the main game. So it's a lot of fun to go through. We actually do get this, I believe, the 3 color lands we actually do get, which is pretty awesome. I'm just throwing out random stuff because I could have played this last turn, but we're not going to stay in here for too long. Explore Alara, pretty cool. The whole setup, and again, the aesthetic of this game is just awesome. I think it looks better than any of the games that they've had in previous years, and that hasn't changed at all. They hold on to that same aesthetic look through the expansion as well. So bottom line, for the single player campaign, it's a ton of fun, but temper your expectations because it's kind of short. Now let's talk about multiplayer and even single player, the card packs. What you really come here for is to get all these little delicious cards unlocked. I've played with all these guys before that I haven't unlocked, and I have had an opportunity to look through all of these and see what exactly we're playing with, what exactly we're looking at. We have some of the most fun cards that we've ever had in a Magic the Gathering set, I think, here. And the reason why they're so fun is that you can't forget that this game allows you to build your own decks. So the fact that we have all these interactions that play so well with the old interactions from the base game, like, this is really where it's at. If you're looking to pick this up and you don't care about single player at all, then it is still super worth it because these cards are awesome. Like, there are a lot of really fun stuff that we can throw in some 5-color builds. Like, 5-color was viable before when we played with it. We don't have more mass removal. There are cards that I'm missing. You know what I mean? There are cards that I don't have here that were in the single player expansion campaign. Like, I saw Mutilate played against me, and it's my favorite black card. I like it even more than Damnation, just because it works in so many amazing circumstances. You can temper its power level to fit your needs. It's a fantastic card, and I'm kind of upset to not see it in here. But when you have stuff like Glaze Fiend, when you have stuff like, oh, where is he? Oh, no, we gotta go down here to see him. Yeah. When you have stuff like Tidehollow Strix, I mean, you have a lot of awesome cards in that collection. And when you take a look at it, and you see it with, all the cards that we have before, there are just so many fun interactions that we're going to be able to get going on. And I cannot wait to start building with all the Alara cards. Unlocking them is a bit of a chore because I tried to do it in the Shards of Alara, and that wasn't, the Shards of Alara just start replaying at a certain point, which was kind of annoying, but, you'll get them all, over time. And you can also pay for them, like we said. So it's an interesting concept because I feel like this is one of the best expansions they've ever done because we're able to play around with them ourselves. And the fact that I can put together an artifact deck now is pretty awesome, even though it very heavily relies on these new expansion cards. It's not really something that we can be too creative with, so to speak. I think probably the most fun that people are going to have is putting together some crazy 5-color builds. But if we're just talking about power level and we're just talking about fun factor, then you want this Alara expansion for the $5. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's worth the money because these cards are not stronger than the other cards, but they open up so many new avenues that if you're playing with just the old decks, you're going to have to be really thinking of tons and tons of strategies that you have to work out of with just the old card sets. So this opens up a lot of different opportunities. Now, it's not a particularly, a pay-to-win type thing where you're going to get these cards and get them all unlocked and everything and have a higher power level. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that strategy-wise, you have a lot more options. And if you're sitting across from somebody and you don't have any of these Alara cards unlocked and they have all of them, when they play blue and black down, you have to be thinking of all those card combinations. It's making it very complicated and a lot more like real paper Magic, which is what I've always wanted from this game. So overall, I would say that this is definitely worth picking it up. $10 to unlock everything's a little steep, especially if you bought some of the other stuff. You might have got the expansion for free, but for some reason they didn't unlock the cards for us. They want $5 for that. But that whole thing, whether or not this makes amends for the, guffaws of the past, that's a different topic. That's not something I want to touch right now. If you bought the base game for $9.99 or whatever, and you're looking at this expansion, I'd say pick it up. If you haven't bought the base game now is the best time to get into the base game because they've completely changed the pay structure and you don't have to pay more than $10 to really get the experience that you want out of it. But to that point, I would say that this expansion is a great addition to the game. It's a lot of fun. It's going to add a lot of strategy to multiplayer. I'm looking forward to what I'm going to see out there, and I hope I will see you guys out there. I hope you enjoyed this little micro review for this thing. It's just a quick little thing to let you know if you're on the fence about picking this up, but you love Magic the Gathering, you love this game, I would definitely recommend it. And if you haven't picked up the base game, I'd like to remind you that until this Monday coming up here, which would be a very quizzical date structure, it's November 10th. Everybody knows this Monday is November 10th. I didn't have to check. That's crazy. You're crazy for saying that. If you want to win your own copy of the base game, not the expansion, but the base game, go ahead and share this video. You can also share one of my other videos that was the giveaway video as well, which was my first look. But go ahead and share this video however you can. And if you want to take a screen cap of it, just throw a piece of paper that says my channel name in this video at somebody's face. That's a friend of yours probably. Don't just throw paper at strangers. That's weird. But you can't just hand out leaflets, whatever. Take a picture of whatever you want of sharing this video and send it to technovolver@gmail.com. And that'll get you an entry into this thing, as well as just sharing it any old regular way through Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. And you'll be entered in to win a copy of the base game. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this whole thing. I'm sorry, I don't know what day it is. I'm the worst. But thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys all in game.